Hey everybody, John with the Stroke Sweat Squad / Outside Your Comfort Zone. This is day 19 out of the 30-day arm hand challenge. This is one exercise. I'll do this one sitting up. I'm going to sit back a little bit here. There we go, a little more stable. You sit in a chair, however you want to. Make sure you got a good stable back on you. I'd say use your cane if you have one available to you, some sort of adaptive device. Now we're going to talk about rotation, and either way, I mean, get the rotation, which this rotation of your hand, of your arm outward, is not the shoulder, it's actually back in your scapula. So all the exercises of rolling your shoulders forwards and backwards and down and shrugging them and pushing them down, all those exercises come into play getting the scapula moving correctly. So what I figured out and practice around and did myself, when I go to do stuff like this, you see my arm wants to, if I try to do it here, my arm wants to pull out, which I've been told it's because my pec muscle is not strong enough to keep my arm pulled in. So I've not worked too much with the pec because I'm trying to work this arm so much, not so much tightening things up. I'm trying to make things more relaxed. So what I started doing was I was horizontal laying down. I could just put my arm against the bed and then push my arm over and do that scapula try to work. And pushing the shoulder blade against the bed was a lot easier than the floor or a mat because a little more give. Your shoulders aren't straight. So you want to get the shoulder good and straight in the back, and then start working the arm outward. What I did was I took my gait belt. Not always advisable to tie yourself up, but you know, sometimes it works out. So even when I'm horizontal, I would use a gait belt on me. Get this all straight now. Get up on the arm. That way I just took the pec muscle out of the equation. So I want to get this in my hand. Work it on there a little bit. And start stretching that out a little bit. And use the same way as you would stretching as we did the stretching the arm above and outward. You're just trying to get this rotation going. You won't be trying to engage that scapula every time you do that. And you can also push back, go the other way. That's why I use, if I'm doing these horizontal, I turn and lay on my unaffected side with this arm in the air, and I use gravity to help pull my arm down, get the right movement, and I can actually push my arm back up against gravity. So in terms of what I've looked at so far is when I'm doing a lot of the exercises, gravity is my friend. Because I can pull things or use my arm by itself away from gravity, trying to use it to build a little bit of strength to get more movement in the arm. I actually have to do it to help pull my arm down to stretch it out a little more. In this case, if we're doing these horizontally, which I probably do this tomorrow horizontally. I know people don't like me on the floor. It gives us some anxiety. But I get the elbow bent. I'm just taking the arm around. And you can actually push back if you want to. So you get both movements out of there. So it'd be a good one to do as a 4 sets of 7. Try eventually when you get after doing these for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, try to push so much with the cane, let the arm do it. And as I said, you get this tight enough right here, you take the pec muscle out of the way. So you have to gauge it to hold your arm in because your gait belt will hold your arm in. And it's just when you play around with exercises, just what you do. You want to make sure the elbow's to the side. And yes, you're gonna feel the pull through here. But like I said, you want to try to engage your scapula. So if I take this out here, come across and go all the way back. Come across, and go all the way back. Get both motions in there. Be careful, your gait belt, if you pull too tight, you can wear a hot spot on your arm. You might put a towel in there or something, keep it from getting hop up. And take it all the way across. See, I'm not really doing anything on the back crossed. Get my hand back in there. Slow up a little bit. Get in there. And you should be able to let the handle, there's not much turning in your hand. so you don't worry about your grip being too strong maybe. You want to get the scapula back there, so squeeze your shoulder blades together and pull it arms aside. You see if I take my cane away, I have quite a bit of range of motion this way. And some out that way, and push the rest of the way out. But like I said, my arm wants to go outward, so I'm trying to keep scapulas pulled in tight. And that's a start. Everything is a start, and you keep doing the exercises, you keep working with the scapulas back here, get this trapezoid back here fired up, get the traps working, and don't worry about too much the bicep at this point. Just trying to get everything open up and relax. And as you see, I got this, my fingers are loose. When I come back across the body, they have to tighten up a little bit, but you see they're still loose out here too. So that's a good one to try. That's day 19. I'm like a day behind at this right now, but we'll catch up this weekend. Make sure you take your gait belt off before you get up. I don't want anybody falling down and then blame me they fell down because they had their gait belt wrapped around their arm, holding their body still. So. Another exercise. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, hit me up. It's something you're working on yourself. Modify things a little bit and see what we do. As long as they help you out, whichever we do. I'm not a therapist. I'm a stroke survivor. Some people say thriver, but I'm a survivor. And what I've learned in dealing with therapists in various different parts of the country and plenty of students at 2 different colleges, they always have an open mind about things and try different things than what you can literally do in therapy themselves. So I get some open concept type stuff, and I just sort of go with it and see how it helps me out, and then modify things as I go and keep trying. And sometimes things work out real well. So hope you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.